Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Woohoo! Pate, pate. Where are we here? Let's make sure YouTube's doing its thing. And it is. Yay. Then we will go down and look at the clock. It's about quarter to 11 here on the West Coast on the 6th of January. Ooh, something's supposed to happen here overnight. Obviously we had that big political event down in the United States. The great state of Georgia had their federal senators runoff elections, and surprisingly, actually, it looks like we might actually get that blue wave after all. As it looks like both Democrat politicians are ahead at the moment. I understand one's sort of very neck and neck. But also too, I was very pleased and very honored that the people of the great state of Georgia, to all intents and purposes, the impression I get is they rejected this crony capitalism kind of idea. And the gentleman that actually they voted in favor of for, I think he's actually going to be a very good representative of the people of Georgia at the federal level. So I was pretty pleased with how that actually played out. It's just personal opinion for whatever it's worth. What I do see is that the market is reacting very profoundly here today. Um, the next 2 weeks until we actually get to the point where the transition has been officially done, I think are going to be very difficult. Through the daily brief today, I just sort of sent a message out to all our American audience. Now is the time. Actually, you really should step up, call your local congressman, your politician, so be it, and sort of demand a peaceful, democratic process continues. Right? You really got to step up and defend your right for democracy here, people. And also, too, I made very specific reference through the Daily Brief that I am up here in Canada. I have a wonderful leader by the name of Justin right now, and it's incumbent on me as a Canadian to try as best as I can to hold him to account. So this isn't just a conversation about USA, and really, as a Canadian, I have no point, no even right to comment. It's just please a request, if you will. Can we just have a nice, clean, polite, non-violent transition? We'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. Do find it interesting, and I don't know whether it's selective reporting or not, but we did see a lot of our breadth indicators actually turn back up bullish a while ago. And I'm in sort of that bearish bent. I'm kind of like, no, that can't be real. That can't be real. And son of a bitch, sure enough, the goddamn stock market's moving higher here. So go figure. This is a great analogy that the algorithms. This is why algorithms are so much better traders than humans. When this thing starts turning and Wing out, the computer just says hit the buy button and just get in there. Anyway, crazy life. Obviously within crypto, very uppy market, and really, I might argue the entire risk spectrum just launching higher here. Now, is this a case of sort of, sell the rumor? We're very worried about how this was all going to go and then buy the news. I'm curious that stocks and even things like oil are rallying smartly in the face of a potential one directional US government, which is always dangerous. Also interesting, too, with that one directional vote and basically, the left leaning, more socialist party that likes to spend money. And unfortunately, the United States doesn't have a heck of a lot of money right now. So, what it does mean is if you want to spend more, you're going to have to go into more debt. The bond market did not like that at all here today. Um, Interesting how the gold market also, too, has come off because historically, usually Democrat presidents are US dollar bulls. Interesting how we've sort of talked about these higher time frame 88.6s coming back up against like 3 4 year lows here. And on this event, we're painting one big honkin' doji here today. Certainly, same conversation we've had for about the past month. There is no buy signal here yet. The conjecture is through this long term cycle pivot, we turn. And of course, as I said, Democrat presidents are historically US dollar bullish. I just don't know what the market's reaction is going to be with an absolute runaway Democrat president, Democrat Congress. I suppose the only conservative part of the US government now is going to be the judicial branch. One thing that really has stood out to me pronounced here is the way oil has just taken off here. Suppose this is a funny commentary. Months ago we were talking about how, we did things like 50% retracements. The market didn't want to go any lower. Were we going to rally up and test to new highs? And they've just blasted this thing higher here. And through the daily brief today, of course, I hate oil. But through the daily brief today, of course, we were talking, looking at a bunch of oil stocks, and geez whiz, they look up. One area that I am interested in, thanks to Kevin, is he found a company that rents sort of portable housing to people that work in the oil services industry. So it's not technically oil, but obviously if the oil industry is doing more work and more business, they're going to get some business. So that's the way I'm playing oil right now. Kind of cheeky. And then, of course, I love my uranium. Long a bunch of this big blue chip Canadian uranium stock. It's like trading at 75 cents. That used to be like, geez, I remember Denison used to be 20, 30, 40, $50 a share. Blue chip, TSX, all that. And I'm almost got a double out on that one. So, and also, too, all my alternative fuels names like the Blink Energy or Blink Charging and the various different electrical vehicle stocks, they all seem to be catching a bid here. So I am playing this to a certain degree, but I'm not in oil itself. Also, too, violently higher oil prices and also violently higher stock prices are going to be inflationary. So it doesn't surprise me that the bonds, to a certain degree, do not like the way that oil's acting here. I'd be curious to get Mr. Bond King's reaction here. This is looking extremely dangerous. I've been talking for the longest time about how I think we're at 35-year, I guess, actually about 35, 40-year cycle in interest rates. And I think interest rates have to head higher for the next 35 years. Nasty failure here. I mean, that's going to be a nasty breakdown because this is like a triangle and it's finally, do we puke out here? And here's the kick in the pants, right? This is the one thing that'll slow the socialists down in a heartbeat is, remember recently, somebody asked about stock price valuations to Powell, and he said, well, as long as interest rates are where they are now, not really a problem. If this continues, at some point, the stock market's going to look over and go, we've got a problem here. It's not a problem today, and I think it's just simple a capital flow issue into risk assets. You know what your Bitcoin and crypto and Ethereum, and look at the fucking perp index. The shit perp, excuse me. Look at it just rocking here. I mean, money is just pouring into risk. Look at the small cap stocks versus the big cap stocks. Money is just pouring into the market. I hate to say it, folks, and especially you right-wing people, you're not going to like this. But I get the feeling a lot of people were kind of like, okay, we just want to get this guy out of the office and we can actually go and invest in the United States of America again. We'll see. That's partial political. But money is coming into risk big time here. I don't think you can ignore that message. What's really interesting is how the metals and gold is acting because, if bonds are collapsing and What do I want to show you? Probably here. If the US dollar is trying to bottom, I don't know whether it's actually bottomed yet or not, but we'll see. It's interesting to see how the metals are just getting slammed. Now, we've talked about this before. If energy prices are rising, it's very difficult for the metals markets to rally. So a little bit of a little bit of worry out of just insane gold markets. But look at these damn gold stocks. I mean, could they come back down to earth a little bit here? I think so. Almost got a double off on my jugger. That figures, eh? They probably saw my order up there at 32. They hit high at 31 and a half today, cocksuckers. Look at the volume, though. Jesus, just insane buying pressure. But is that the beginning of the move or the end of the move? Like the Goliath we were selling on another double up in here yesterday. So I'm kind of thinking maybe the metals need to calm down a bit here. We also talked a little bit yesterday, I think, about how you look at these gold stocks. Really, my number one job at this point with this setup is don't get in the way. It's got a massive amount of wiggle room. Could we actually spend maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 months just backfilling? Look at all these gaps. But I'm not going to touch this. The only time I touch this is if we hit this level up here, then I move my stop to scratch. If we hit this level down here, I walk away and take the loss. So that's interesting to see. Things like Agnico Eagle are not, they don't want to break down here. So not really ready to say that the gold and the metal market, whatever this counter trend rally surge was, is over. It just feels like maybe we got to do a little bit of backfilling there. Here's those uranium names. Energy looks very, very good here. So, I'm not in the oil stocks, but, like Schlumberger, I was pointing out, that to me looks like a cup and handle if I've ever seen one. So if that's the case, this son of a gun's probably going right back up into probably reload short zones, fill in all these gaps and stuff. So, this is an oil service stock. Like I said, I don't mind investing in a company that's going to be servicing this company's employees in the field. But anyway, you shake it, man. And I can't say it enough. I hate oil. Is this a new bull market, though, or is this maybe just a counter trend rally to relieve a bit of the oversold condition? I mean, you can see how far this thing has collapsed. Did we rally back? I mean, look at the profile. I mean, that looks like a mess. So we're probably going to have to do a lot of backfilling in here, which sucks because I don't like oil. Oil, bleh. It's also going to be, like I said, if oil is as strong as I think it is here, it's going to make it very hard for the metals to rally. So we'll see how it goes. Banging out doubles and near a bunch of doubles on a whole bunch of names. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just a huge slew of names that are going to be banging out doubles in crypto stocks today, with crypto as strong as it is. So, I don't think that should surprise anybody. Been sort of watching, just over the past few days. We talked about, when the market smiles at you, what it usually happens. I think the reset button was hit. Retail close, holiday weekend. Better bring that car back, have it in the garage with a full tank of gas before the parents are back. So they bring it back, they set up the base, and just start the whole damn thing all over again. Just remember that through the holiday weekend, Wall Street wasn't participating. Now Wall Street's in. So cliche. Do you find it interesting? We seem to be walking along this cute little trend line that identified the breakout here. Notice that that's now resistance. Wouldn't be surprised if we rally up into this area, but just keep in mind, right? You can see high to low trend lines. If we do actually lose this trend line, it's going to be a head and shoulders top, and probably got to come back down, eat wicks and tails, all that kind of talk. Higher time frame, ain't no top in sight. Even if we go like 2 hours, there's that sort of head and shoulders toppy kind of thing. If we crap out here, probably going to come back down to earth. But you can see we just broke to new highs. Can they break another high? Sure, why not? What the hell? I don't really have any upside objectives right now. I mean, the only thing left on the charts are insane upside Foggenbaum levels. I mean, maybe we can work our way up into these levels. Totally possible, but somewhere through this next period. Keep in mind, Ethereum's got their big fundamental event that happens early February. Later on, right now, if I understand correctly, we got Libra and all that coming down the pike here in January. So obviously, that's going to be a big unknown. The central banks have all said that these regional banks can start coming in and mining stable coins to validate the coin, which would make sense, right? If anything, you should look at that and go, great. Looks to me like crypto has been caught on. They like this idea. And now the central banks are going to go setting up their networks to basically validate their stable coins. Tough to say how the public is going to react. Could we find that there's a period down the road where the governments actually wage war on these other stable coins? Maybe. Is there a potential down the road for like these anonymous coins and all the various different crypto exchanges around the world to be forcibly put out of business? Sure, wouldn't surprise me. Kevin tells us continuously about how wonderful it is to be an American citizen and try and trade cryptocurrencies. Interestingly enough, though, I heard an interesting comment. I think CZ himself is trying to set up one of these gateway ramps with that big SI bank that I was telling you about, which is sort of like the 1% on ramp to crypto. So I do find it interesting that people like CZ are actually playing ball with the Americans. And, the point being that if you want to move through this one particular bank onto CZ's platform, well, everything's tracked. And so everybody knows exactly what everybody's doing. The whole anonymousness of crypto, I think, is going away. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm sure there's going to be demand on the dark web and all that kind of stuff down the road. So it's certainly not like anything will disappear in crypto entirely. But seeing the public come in and FOMO buy and drive your coin 100x up in the privacy space, I think that might be asking a bit much. As Ethereum goes, right, I think this is now our next catalyst that we have to think about here. Our Jupiter Saturn cross. Wow. Maybe that was a massive pivot. And this is that new millennial. I wouldn't buy into that shit. Remember the gold market, it topped about 2 or 3 weeks following the Jupiter Saturn cross in 1980. My hunch is probably something along those lines. And like we said, we got a big fundamental event here. So I think this is like buy the rumor, sell the news. Remember when what happened when Bitcoin futures were launched on the CME? I mean, that was the top. So that's probably a pretty good catalyst. And, we had other people on social media and stuff kind of confirm the idea that it's probably not in our best interest to step in front of this thing and say, this is the top. That's foolhardy. And that's not really our job as technicians, right? We have to identify the fact that this is a bull market. We have to, as technicians, identify that we are coming up into levels where previous people that are much, much bigger fish than we are stop the previous bull run. But all that says is location. Okay, well, how many reasons should we have to justify taking a trade? That's one reason. If we look at our indicators, do we have any signs of things like divergence? We're still in that momentum coil puke out or first sort of initial push phase. Yeah, and I've said this before. What usually happens on the other side of this initial push phase is the puke out phase. But that doesn't mean we're anywhere near divergences. That doesn't set up a trade. If anything, your trade was probably just trend continuation. Just try and stay in this thing. Maybe spoon feed coins as this thing moves higher. But you can see the volume is still ramping up, momentum still ramping up. I mean, we're idiotically overbought here. So, there's no way. I've said this about Bitcoin. There's no way I can be a buyer of this stuff here. But there ain't no top there yet, that's for sure. And on balance, actually, you know what I'm really liking right now is this DeFi space is really coming alive here. The Kusama, I really like the look of that versus Bitcoin. I don't know, versus US dollar, it's a bit expensive. Stake, look at that. I mean, that's what I like to call a base, right? Look at that. Down, up, down. I mean, she just does not really want to go through there right now. You get a nice blast off through here on volume, and that's going to be a W. It is a bit suspicious, the participation, so let's just watch. I mean, Nanny Nibble's coming in the buy-in range, cool. You want to start pounding the table for, my God, this thing's about to go ape shit. Yeah, I think we're probably still a bit early, but could we see a rally up in here? Remember, if I'm buying here at 8, that means $16 is a double for me. I can get a free position off. And that looks to me like that's probably what's about to happen here. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Look at this YFI. Look at these W's. I mean, W's are W's are W's, people. And look at the volume coming in here. Something's going on. We looked at a bunch of these. I'm seeing Davos coming in all over the place. And Davos are very powerful momentum signals. So if the Davos are coming in, don't fight it. This Civic, man, that thing looks like it's, I think I've shown that to you before. That's perfect. I was kind of hoping I had some Davos on here I could show you, but I don't seem to have anything on here. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Point here is I'm interested in the altcoin space right now. There are a lot of W's coming in on names that I've liked, and of course there are some that have already taken off. So I'm in here. I'm very interested. I mean, I'm not ready to go ape shit here. I sure like the look. Look at that. I mean, gee whiz, something's going on here when you actually change this to a daily chart. I mean, look at these W's. That's what you want to see as technicians, to say, hey, something's going on here. I mean, I don't know whether you buy there, maybe work your bids against the bottom end of the range, whatever. But something's brewing, and look at what happened to like Stellar. Like, this kind of shit can happen just overnight because these assets are so driven down into the ground. The irony of it all is I actually expect this thing to be trading right back up here. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Anyway, so here's another one. Like, check out this Waltons. This is so cool. Davos, Davo. Look at the W, do something, dot. You know how it goes. So, I love this Davo trading system. Something's brewing there. And look how far it's come down, even just since September. Is there a chance to double your money there? I think so. It's not a bad idea. So that's the kind of market state I see it as. Roll with the punches. Don't take no wooden nickels. It looks like the wind is at our back right now when it comes to risks, so that's cool. I think I even told you that I couldn't take a trade on this, but fucking A, man. I mean, I'm long lots of crypto. So they want to just keep ratcheting this thing higher. Fine by me. 100,000 Bitcoin, 200,000. Actually, I saw somebody say, I wouldn't be surprised to see $143,000 Bitcoin. Okay. You know what? My tweet today was, you want to take crypto higher? I'm going to be spoon feeding the whole way up. Okay. If you insist. I guess I'll live with booking more doubles and more doubles and more doubles. Okay, I think I'll leave the rant at that. So last thing I should say, of course, we have our upcoming fall winter Q1 2021 education program coming up here. We got about 5.5 days until the term officially starts. And I think Kevin will include this page in the comments, I guess it is, or the video description. And Like I said, this page is a great way just to get to know us a little bit better, review all the terms, and if it agrees with you, awesome. We'd love to see you in the program. Okay, everyone. Have yourselves an awesome rest of your day. Still haven't heard. Hey, Kevin, did we ever hear from the raffle, the draw winner?
I don't believe so. It's Hot Nicks.
Hot Nicks. That's what his name
Hot
was.
Nicks, yeah. But I don't know if Julian reached out to him. We have his email, or him or her. I don't. We
Yeah,
have their email address.
we got an email address. Tell you what, Hot Nicks, you better get off your ass. If we don't hear from you by, let's say, by the end of the first week, maybe we'll do another spin of that wheel. So, because I would like to have that draw seat filled. So, Hot Nicks, the clock is ticking, and there's a lot of people that would love your seat. If you happen to know Hot Nicks, maybe reach out to them and tell them to get in touch with us. Okay, why don't we leave it at that? Have yourselves an awesome rest of your day. PMA for the win, Bitcoin Moon, Party Central, all the best, and bye for now.